Pleasure. Hello, Patty. It's all right. How are you? Okay, can't hear you at the moment. Not sure if your microphone's on low. Okay, give you a minute. Franklin, maybe you can help.
Sure, let me look into this.
Okay. I can't hear you. I can see your microphone moving, so I can see your microphone's on, but it's probably on low volume. Okay, that's fine. I can see you talking, but I can't hear you. That's fine. Just test your volume on your microphone. Franklin's helping you.
The microphone.
I can hear something. Patty, talk to me.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
No.
I can
Yes,
hear
okay.
somebody. Yeah, I can.
You can?
I can. Yes, I can. Yes. Bit of a delay, but I
Okay.
can. Yeah, no, that's great. Where are you from, Patty?
San Diego.
San Diego. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, welcome. And Patty, what brings you to this class?
Well, I'm retired, 2 years. My husband passed away last year,
Sorry.
and I'm ready to begin again.
Right. Fantastic. Okay, you've come to the right place. Okay, that's great. Yeah. And hello to Ram.
Hello.
How are you? Hello, Ram.
Hello, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. And how are you? And what brings you to this class?
I want to have a little exercise class and teach it, and I don't know how to set it up or how to get started doing it. So,
Okay, you want to do an exercise class?
Combination of exercise and dance, and I want to do it online. And I'm kind of having trouble getting started on how to even set it up, or so that's
Okay. What makes you want to do that? Do you want to share it with other people and teach other people?
right. Correct. Seniors, yes, seniors. What?
Okay.
That's right.
All right. Okay. That's very interesting. Huh? And we've got Arlene. Hello, Arlene. Can you hear me? How are you?
I can hear you. Yes, it took forever to get on here. I don't know what was going on my side, but I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad you're here too. Did you get an email? Did you have a problem with clicking? Or
Yes, I got an email, but it wouldn't let me in and it wouldn't connect. And then Zoom wouldn't open and my password didn't work and get set up. It was a big mess and I don't know what's going on, but I'm here.
Yeah, that's the main thing. You're right. Absolutely, you're right. You're here. And so what brings you here? What made you want to come to the class?
Oh, that's I'm looking for something to get up for in the morning. After the pandemic and all this stuff, now things are getting a little better, and I have no goal and I have no passion, and I don't know what to do next.
Right, right. Okay. Right. Well, you've definitely arrived at the right class. So hopefully I'm going to leave you with some thoughts by the end of today's class. All right. I think the 3 of the 8 people that had booked. So if the others come in, then we'll pick them up at that point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share some slides and we'll work through the class with slides. Let me just organize them while you're there. And okay. So please feel free to leave your videos on. It's great for me as a presenter to have videos on, and you can leave your microphone on too, unless you've got background noises and things like that. But I'd also like to introduce you to Franklin, who's in class today. He's our personal technical assistant. And if you have any problems with your microphone or your video or any sort of issues, even with Get Set Up generally, like, for example, you've had trouble getting into the class, just message him on chat, and you can do it privately. Just look for his name under the drop-down menu, and you'll be able to tell him, what your problem is, and he'll resolve it in the future. With regards to getting into class, there's been a lot of upgrading by Get Set Up, technical upgrading, because a few weeks ago we had a lot of people just crashing into our classes that were not meant to be there, and so they spent many hours upgrading. So what happens now, when you click on your link on the email, you get taken to another space, whereas before you used to go straight in. This is now sort of technically protecting all of us from the bad guys. And so you go into a room, and then you launch from that room. And if you haven't had a class previously that day, it'll ask you to sign in. So it's all part of the process. So be aware that does happen. So you need to, if it's your first class of the day, after that it remembers you, and you won't have to sign in again, but you'll still get taken to that room, and you launch from there. So just be aware of that. And it's made a world of difference to the interference in the classes that we used to have. So it's a good show. So just be aware that those things are there to protect all of us, you and I. We're sharing classes together, and we're moving forward now without any interference. So yeah. So there are a lot of new people I see that names I do not know. So let me introduce myself. My name is Michael, and I live in Perth, Western Australia. And so we're into our winter, we're into our rainy season, we're into our cold season. I woke up this morning at 6 degrees Celsius. Not quite sure what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's probably around 40 or somewhere, unless somebody knows for sure, but it's cold. Okay. Yeah, my background is in business, and I've written a lot, and I've trained a lot in business, and sort of that's my background, is researching and doing business, basically, before I retired. Okay. And I'm now 72, and I'm now really into another 30 years, hopefully, of Get Set Up, and sharing the class with you as we move forward. And I usually take a little angle on things. So if you come to other classes, I think you'll understand what that means, because I also want to enjoy my own classes. So I do it my way, as Frank Sinatra used to sing about. Okay, so the agenda won't mean a tremendous amount at this point in time, but I would suggest that you request a copy of the recording of this class at the end, if you so desire, in order to use it as a notepad, in order to go back, because we're going to go through 6 steps during this class, and I want you just to focus more on the concept than writing notes. I mean, you can write notes, okay? Did I spoil you, Arlene?
You caught me.
Okay. No, but you can take notes. Don't get me wrong. You can. But, I found, particularly when the sort of classes, I also take classes that get set up as well. Just took one this morning on ankle exercise. And goodness, did I learn a lot. And my ankles are feeling so much better. So, yeah, I take classes too. But then I just request the recording. And then in my own time, I go through, then I make notes, because otherwise you're going to make notes of perhaps something on the slide or something that together we've said in the class, and it distracts you just a little bit. So it's a good way. It's just asking for a recording, and then you've got it for good. It's there, it's yours, you download it, it's on your computer. And particularly with this process, I do a process of 5 classes, okay, or particularly 4 classes that are consecutive each day. Tomorrow, same time, the next day, the same time, the next day, the same time. We move forward on different aspects. So they are independent. So this one is totally independent on its own as well. And so let's get on with that. Let's talk about purpose. Okay, you're here because of that word. And everybody, I just know it, everybody has a purpose. Okay, everybody exists for a reason. And we're all meant to contribute to the world in our unique way as senior citizens. Okay, because we have the experience and we have the wisdom, okay? We just need to find that purpose. And that purpose is waiting to come out. It's actually sitting in our subconscious mind that quantum physics tells us is connected to everything. So that's something that's waiting in your subconscious mind is going to be your purpose, okay? And whether it comes out during this class, whether it comes out through exercises you're going to do in the coming weeks, it will come out. It will be like an aha moment, to quote Oprah from a long time ago. Okay, so that purpose is going to be our seniors' life mission. Okay, and I want you to think also when you're talking about purpose, and when we look at purpose, I call it the what we're going to do, and the purpose. I want you to also focus very strongly on that word, that English word called why. Why? Because that's going to lead you. The what and the why together is going to lead you now in June 2021 to your purpose. So let's start with a phrase that I believe is so powerful. The purpose of life is a life with purpose. And I hope that this process is going to help you find that purpose, so that you have a purpose in life. Okay. All right. So we're going to, as I said, go through 6 steps. And I like to start very broadly, and you'll see when we move on why I've started so broadly, because we've got to communicate right through this process with our subconscious, and we've got to deal with our conscious and our logical mind as well. So we've got two areas that one's, the conscious always wants to dominate. Okay, so I start in a particular way. I start with very broad categories. So if you look at the world as a whole, and you look at purposes, and you look at work, at jobs, at professions, they're divided into, or they fall into three categories, only three categories. Okay, the first one, a business can manufacture a product and then sell it, like a craftsman or an artist or a factory. Okay, or you can buy a product from someone else and sell it, like an affiliate or an agent or a retailer or a wholesaler. And then thirdly, you can go out to college, learn a skill, and you sell that skill, that service, okay, like a doctor or a designer or a nurse or a lawyer or a programmer, a computer programmer. So basically, all things fall into those three categories. Now, I want to bring those broad categories down to you as an individual. Okay, you are unique. Each of us are unique. And we're now, having gone through our careers and done whatever we did in our careers and brought up our families and fulfilled a purpose there, we're now asking, what were we born to do when we reached our senior years? Okay, so now I want you to answer these three questions. Okay, you certainly don't have to repeat them to me or anything like that, but let's just move forward and see how we go. The first thing you ask yourself, knowing that you are unique, do I enjoy working with my hands? Or do I enjoy far more just interacting with people? Or do I far more enjoy working by myself, maybe using my head and my skills that I've learned, but I need to be doing it by myself, maybe an accountant working at home, if that's so this is the first step that you need to be thinking about. So, think right now, there might be obvious things that just, you enjoy knitting, or you enjoy doing something with your hands, or you're like me, if you try and do anything with your hands, it always is created upside down or all crooked or whatever. Okay, I was never born to work with my own hands, even though I do gardening and things like that. But creatively, I was never born to do something with my hands. And so look through which one just work. We have a little of all three. I know that, and accept that you do have some of all three. But I want you to think about which is sort of dominantly yours. Okay, so maybe let's just stop there and see how you are feeling right now. Have you got any immediate thoughts? Any of you? Patty, you?
Well, I enjoy painting and art and singing.
Okay.
And that's really what I enjoy.
Excellent, excellent. So of those three, being an artist, you would enjoy working with your hands?
Mm-hmm. I'm very good at working with my hands.
Excellent. Okay, so you found the answer to step one. Okay,
Okay.
So you can write that down already. Okay, and Arlene, what about you?
Well, I like all three, but I like interacting with people the most, which has been very, very, very difficult in the last year and a half. So that's one of my problems is I enjoy making people happy,
Okay.
entertaining them, that kind of thing.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's great. You've got answer to your step number one. Okay. And Ram, what about you?
I enjoy working with people also.
Also, okay, that's great. You've got your answer. These answers are coming quickly. Janice, what about you?
I think I'd like to be a social worker or a coach interacting with people.
Okay, so before we get to the detail, you'd like to work with people. That's the main
Yes.
thing. Okay, okay, all right. So you've all got the answer to step one. All right. So that is great. Okay. So let's now look at step two. Okay. Now, why do I want to work with any idea at all? What's the reason? I asked you some of this as you came into the class this morning, and some of you gave me answers. Okay. Why do I want an idea anyway? Okay. Why do I want to do it if I do find an idea? You know, what is my intention? What's my why? Why? Okay. So I want you to think about that right now. Some of you, as I said, gave me an answer. You know, you're by yourself now, and you're looking for a purpose. But why are you looking for a purpose? That's what I'm asking. Okay, I know you're looking for a purpose, but I want you in step two to tell me why you are looking for a purpose. Okay, you know, or is it just because you're bored and you want something to do, or do you want to make some extra money? And I don't want you to use my examples. I hate giving examples because they cotton onto your conscious mind. And but I want to know genuinely what it is that that wants you to do something, because this becomes important in this process, and you will see as we head towards the end of the class. Is find the reason. So if you know the reason right now, just remember the reason can have nothing to do with money, okay, in this process, because we're working with the subconscious. We're trying to find what's going to energize you, what brings you to jumping out of bed in the morning and so on. And at the moment, it's not happening, and you're here in this class, and it needs to happen. It needs to happen for all of us. So, but it's got nothing to do with money. Remember that. All right, so you're moving forward now into a realm, an area of an intent, a why. So step two is, why are you here in this class? And I'm going to give you some sort of ideas, because one of the words that we've been used to using as we've been going through our 50 odd years of career is the word intention. Now, intention is an honest purpose, okay, or needs to be an honest purpose. And so this step two needs to be an honest intention, an honest purpose, honest to yourself. So intention in life, and really, again, when one looks at quantum physics and science and all the energy connections between every single aspect of everything, it's the starting point of every dream, okay? And that intention gives you the why that we're looking for in this step two. So you've probably looked at or even read books about intention. There've been lots of books, and over the years, I've really enjoyed reading a lot of the books. And so intent is the creative energy that if you get that intent, if you get that why, that lays down a foundation for your purpose and for purposeful growth within you, okay, and success with whatever you decide to do. It's that intent. It's very clear on that intent here in step two. So the reason I use the word honest and authentic is that often our logical mind takes over and tells us, well, you want to do that because you'll impress other people. No. No, or your logical mind will say, well, you could do with some extra money. No, it hasn't got to do with that. Okay. The authentic intent is the first step in discovering this idea, this what that you've arrived in class to look at. Okay. And the intent certainly is going to motivate you. If you have a good intent, it is going to motivate you, and it's going to sustain that motivation years and years into the future. So it's important now, and I don't mind if you take 2 weeks to find it. Okay, that intent and that why, or you're not sure. Don't guess it. Okay, and I'd also like to say at this point, that is, this whole process should be secret for you. Okay, should be secret. Don't discuss the process with your spouse, with your brothers and sisters, your children, your grandchildren, your next door neighbor. It's private, because you want to allow the space for your subconscious to come out with that aha moment and give you ideas, and it will happen if you give it the space. The problem is when you share with other people, they have their opinions, okay? And their opinions, might just block off your subconscious, or it might link with your conscious mind and say, yeah, he's right. No, I'm heading down the wrong direction. No, I shouldn't do that. No, so keep the process private, okay? There's a time when we'll share, and you will share, definitely, but we first need to get to that point. All right. So step 2 is find that intention, be clear on it. If you've got it now, that's great. Okay, write it onto your paper under step 2 as an answer. So you're answering the question that you see on the screen. Why do I want to work with any idea? What is my reason? Doesn't matter what idea it is. Why am I looking for an idea to work with? Okay, and so write down your answer in step 2, sorry, and let's see how it moves forward. I'm not going to ask you unless you want to share your answer. I'm going to give a space, but I'm not going to. If anybody wants to voluntarily say something because you're absolutely clear in your own mind and you want to share it with the class, otherwise don't share it. I'm just giving you the space if you want to share it. Okay. All right. And I really honor that, because it's a very, very important step in the process, and you really need to think about it. And the way to think about it is to put on the kettle, make yourself a cup of coffee or your favorite beverage, and go and relax in your favorite chair, and just ask yourself random questions. And we'll come to questions now as well, the type of questions you could just be asking yourself. But because you've already made the coffee and sat in a chair with intent to think about what the step is about, and that in itself is sufficient for your subconscious to come through. You've just got to allow at that time. So maybe sort of slow, like breathing, or just settling down and relaxing in your chair will help that come up, and it will come up. Believe me, it will come up. Okay. All right. So now we're heading to step 3. Now, step 3 is, as you can see on your screen, find your way towards new ideas, meaning, and purpose. So we're looking at some ideas. We're looking at the what, okay, that I mentioned earlier. And so to communicate with your subconscious and with what you're meant to do, you need to now create your own questions. I'm going to give you a whole lot of examples of questions. I guess you can use my questions, but the more ideal situation is if you create your own questions, because somehow that connects you even more with who you are, your reality, if the questions actually come from you. But I'm going to give you ideas because this is an important step, step 3. So, you can see like on the screen, what brings me joy. You can create all sorts of sub-questions, if you like, underneath that. You can ask yourself, for example, what activities make me happy? And that really is a powerful question to ask yourself. What activities make me happy? What do I love to do? Another question. Why do I find myself doing things for hours on end? Or what do I find myself, is probably a better way of phrasing it. What do I find myself doing for hours on end and it doesn't make me tired? Okay. I guess one of you are going to say painting. Yeah, okay. But, okay, so yeah, create yourself questions, even think back to a child. What are the favorite things you used to do as a child? Okay, and you know how the adult world always interferes with us children, when we were growing up. And that you've got to do this, you've got to do that, and so what were you doing as a child, as a preschooler, as a senior, and even at varsity? Okay, what makes you come alive? Ask it in that way. Okay, now what things have previously made me feel excited that I want to get out of bed and do it? Okay, so these are all questions you can ask yourself. Or create that. The question is unique to you. You write the question down in step 3, and don't only think about it, okay, but also write it down in your notepad that you're going to carry with you now for the rest of your life. Okay, whether it's a small little one that goes into your handbag, or you take it to the supermarket with you because something that you're waiting in the queue at the supermarket to pay for your things, and then all of a sudden you get an aha moment, and you want to be able to write it down. Okay, so life becomes exciting just knowing that you're carrying around your notebook. Okay, you can also look at the question and say, what gives me meaning and purpose historically, and even now? Okay. Or you can say things, ask a question like, who or what do I want to be? Maybe you want to be a geologist, okay? And so, yeah, you've got to study and you want to become that. That's fine. So you might even ask the question that way around, who do I want to be? So you need to be asking yourself, finally, when you're doing this process, is, am I walking a path in life that is uniquely mine? That's a big question. Okay, so coming back to the questions, what am I naturally good at? Okay, that's fine. Look at what you're naturally good at. No harm in that. You might want to learn a totally new skill and not do what you have done historically. That's fine too. Okay, what comes easily to me, you might ask. How do I spend my time? Okay, yeah. Questions you are creating in step 3. You're creating your questions. And don't forget, you've got to bring in step 1 and step 2 answers, which you've all answered already. Okay, if you prefer working with your head or with people, ask the questions around that, keeping that in mind. That's what you want to do. And then step 2, remember the why. The why you're actually doing this. Okay, very important in order to link up with that subconscious and and get moving through. So in step 3, you're looking for a lot of light bulb moments. Okay, that's why I put that image in there. You know, what will give you meaning? There will be more than one answer, definitely. There's not a unique answer, but we're looking at in step 3 the what. Okay, so you're making a whole lot of questions, and you're asking all these questions of yourself over the coming days or weeks, and just say, okay, I'm enjoying my coffee, I'm relaxing. Now, come tell me. Okay, and you like expect something to jump out at you in the middle of your lounge, but it's just in your head. Okay, and so it becomes a fun exercise, definitely, but don't put a time pressure on yourself. Okay, don't put a time pressure on yourself. So step 3, you will have a list of what's. Okay, that you're busy. As I said to you, you might have gone for a walk in the park. Take your book with you, and suddenly something crops up, and you write it down. So the questions will help you come up with the what's. Okay, the what's. What is my purpose? Okay, I'm going to just stop there, make sure there are no questions, that step 3 is clear. Okay. Arlene, you look puzzled. I got it.
Actually, I'm kind of puzzled, but it's not about your question. It's when you share your screen, you guys are all on the side, and I've been trying to figure out how to put you on top so that I don't end up looking like this all the time when I'm actually watching you.
Why don't you move them with your finger, with your cursor? Just move them to another position.
It's a desktop.
Yeah, you've got to do that today. So you're about to just move them.
Drag it. Okay, I'll try
Drag
that.
it and push it where you want it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yes, you've hit some very good points about what I thought I was thinking, and to actually think about more stuff, and that's helpful. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. Anybody else want to share anything? Not necessary. Just if you feel like it, because now we're going to move on. Those first 3 steps are the key. Really, I know I sound dramatic, and when I say it's the first 3 steps to the rest of your life, but it's true. Okay, it really is true. So work with those, and now work with the next 3 steps. Once you've written the questions and you've answered the questions. Okay, so what I want you to before we just move off that step 3, is to realize that these questions that you are creating are driven by an innate love and joy within you. You are drawn to the questions for a reason. Okay, they lead you to where you are meant to go. So spend time on them. Okay, and work with them. And then sometime in the future, you can find me and come back and tell me about it. Okay. All right. So step 4. Broadly, what do I want to do in my business? So I call it business in my purpose. All right. They interchangeable, the word purpose and business. So broadly, what do I want to do with my purpose? Okay, so this is step 4. Now we're going to be looking at something. I use the word broad again, like I did on the very first slide. Very broadly, I want you now, because you've got a lot of what's in step 3, okay, and you've got the whys in step 2, okay, you're now looking at very broadly, looking at categories, okay, of things that are coming to you now under step 3, the what's. How do they fit into some sort of clear category? Okay, some of them, it might be like absolutely, no problem at all. Others might be rather random what's around, and sort of you can't fathom out how to get them into a category. But look at the answers to step 3 and bring them here. And then, without saying tasks or anything specific, broad overview, fit them all, if you like, into different categories. But maybe they actually fit into one category, because that's where we're going to be heading anyway. So, it might be about writing. You actually want to write, okay? And you would love to be able to write as a purpose, and or you want to paint as a purpose, or you want to bake as a purpose, or you want to be a consultant or a mentor, whatever the category is, not the specifics, not what you're going to paint or what you're going to consult on or what you're going to be a mentor about. It's just the fact that it's a mentor. So this is step 4, and this now, where clearly you must think about it coming from a warm feeling within you. Okay, so you look at a category and you think, well, I've got some what's here that would perhaps fit into this category. Now you've got to listen to your subconscious, and your subconscious can only communicate, okay, through a warm, fuzzy feeling. Somewhere between your throat and your belly button, you get that warm feeling, and it will be there. I'm telling you, it'll be there. If that particular category is what your subconscious wants and what you're going to do, you're going to get a good feeling about it. Maybe you brought to it, and by logic, well, I used to do this, I do it well, and so now my category is going to be, sorry, I don't mean to pick on you about it, but it's going to be about painting, okay? And you get no feeling at all, okay? I want to be an artist, I get no feeling at all. And so, you think, okay, well, let's keep on with the exercise. Let's look for other categories of things that come from step 3, and look at if I get a feeling. So here, it must be a feeling. It's not a logical result, step 4. Step 4 is about a feeling. So you can list all the things from step 3, and new ones that come up while you're listing them, while you're looking at them or writing them. They will come up probably for the rest of your life, okay? And that's absolutely fine. And you acknowledge with gratitude to your subconscious by writing them down, okay? Just writing them, okay? Even if it's in the middle of the night, okay? So step 4 is looking at categories. So not into the detail, not what you're going to bake. You just want to be a baker. Okay, so that's what the category is. This is step 4 that you're now going to work with. And so let's move on to step 5. Okay, I suggest on the screen, take a few days to think about why you want to do what you want to do, okay, that you've come up with in step 4, okay? So why is essential to your idea and purpose. I said that right at the beginning of the class, and we did a why for why you're here, but now we're looking at that category. We're now looking at that category in step 4, and we're saying, why you want to do that category, okay? So why becomes the most important question to get to your purpose in life, okay? And if you arrived into the class already with a purpose, like Graham did, do the process, okay? And see whether each step warms your heart, whether you get a good feeling about what you arrived in class to do. And And if you still get that warm feeling, Ram, then that's absolutely confirmation that that's the way we're going to go. And then, in tomorrow's class, we'll look at how to take our first step with that purpose. But why is an important aspect. Now, I want to give you an example so we're absolutely clear about this why. Okay, I'm going to read what is on the screen. 2 people intend to donate money to charity. The first one's reason is to get a tax deduction, and the second person wants to assist abandoned children. The what was the same, donate money to charity, okay? But the why was not the same. I hope that makes you think, okay? The why is essential to this process. And as you can see on your screen, if you have an authentic, a motivating why to live for, you will discover many hows to do it, okay? And we'll talk about in the coming 3 days as well, lots of hows, and I'll give you all sorts of ideas about how. But your authentic idea and why you want to do it is going to live with you, hopefully, forever, okay, and into the next 30 years of your life. And so how you do it, well, we've got to search and find ways on how to implement that purpose, okay, and look at the various options that are looking at us, in June 2021. So we will come to that at a later. So it's essential to get to this stage in step 5. Okay. Now I want to just give you some examples, and I make no apologies that these are my own personal experiences. It's so much easier to talk from a practical point of view through a process, because I've designed this process myself decades ago and have moved through it, and I've redone it just recently now, having moved continents and arrived in Western Australia. And then I had to relook at this whole process again for myself. And so I've come to a conclusion, but I want to use it as an example. So let's say, and I want you to now also think through this process. So let's have a look at the what purpose and the why that we spoke about earlier in the class. So my broad what was to research, write, and share the information that will benefit individuals. Now, I may not have said it in the previous steps, but as seniors, we really need, our purpose needs to be looking at, other people benefiting, okay, from our process. Very important, because that's going to make us, that's an innate subconscious happiness, where if you're helping somebody else be happy or fulfilling some need that somebody else has, okay, it's that quantum aspect where you are going to get the benefit of a really good feeling and a happiness. Okay, so that was the broad purpose there, okay. And then the why was, I absolutely love researching. Even when I was a youngster, I used to find myself in the library researching, okay. So I enjoy discovering new information, and I enjoy writing. I mean, some of my other classes, because I'm discovering new information, even if they are conspiracy theories, I still enjoy researching them and seeing the background to them. So that's what you would, yours needs to be there. Then you now take the next step, okay? You are now very clear about the reason for wanting to work. You're very clear about the type of work, and you're very clear about the reasons for that type of work. You get to this point, you've come a long way. Okay, you really come a long way. Now you put it all together, and you write it down together. in the old days, they used to call that a mission statement or something like that. But your overall purpose, you just write it all down. The shorter, the better. Paragraph, or, if it has to be more than a paragraph, that's fine. But at this point, you should be excited. You should be feeling, when you want to write this purpose down, you should be feeling that warmth in your body. And then that you're on the right track. Now, step 6, we do come into some more detail now. And so this is the actual, there are 7 steps, but there are 6 are really the essential ones. So now you're looking at your what. Take your what, remember the broad categories, okay, and start thinking and researching. You can use Google now, you can use your logical mind to bring it down to more specific categories, a more specific category, shall I say. Okay, and I'll give you an example again of that in a minute if it's not clear. You want to become, in this category that you've now brought it down to, you want to become knowledgeable in that category, a more specific category. And that will become clear why in time to come. Okay, so again, let's just go back to the example and where we wrote down the detail of the what, this, and we get now to this aspect. You can see the category was, the broad category was for me to research, write, and share. Then I brought it down to a smaller category. What was I going to research, write, and share? Okay, back to the what. I decided on alternative health treatments because I was not well, and I was spent some time in a wheelchair, great difficulty in walking, and I just wasn't happy. And so I was going to look at some sort of alternative. So that's what I had, a motivation. It brought me down to the why of the alternative health treatments, why I chose of alternative health. And then I brought it down, having established that. And I wrote a lot about alternative health treatments, okay, for quite some time. And then I brought it down more specific, and that was for nervous system diseases. So you can see how each category got into a more detailed category, and then I said, right, I'm now going to start communicating about multiple sclerosis, Alzheimer's, and peripheral neuropathies, all things that were related to me. Okay, and so I wanted the knowledge, and I wanted to then share the knowledge. And so I set up a website, and we did all sorts of things, and I communicated, and I did videos, and I just, as I was moving and getting healthier and healthier, I shared more and more. So you need to now do this step 6, going down from a broad category to a more narrow category, to a more narrow category, okay, to the actual aspect, okay. So let me just stop there and just see if that's as clear as mud. Okay. Okay. Yeah, okay. No questions? No. Okay. All right. Let's go. I said there were 6 steps. There are 6 steps. But this is the beginning of tomorrow's, I guess. And there's some things you can do if you were going to join tomorrow at the same time. But I want you to take your idea and think how you're going to deliver it. As you saw, I thought of mine, and I was going to write, so I became a blogger, and then also a freelancer, and so that was where I was going. But maybe depending on what you're going to do, look at what comes to mind. We will deal with it in great detail on the coming 2 days, but it's worth thinking about now. You might have got this. Don't go to step 7 unless you're already totally happy with up to step 6. Okay. and then, you know, if you're about, you're going to, let's say, I don't know, bake certain cookies, that's going to be what you want to do, then, you know, bake something, give them away, get people's opinions. You know, maybe you're making cookies with micro herbs in them, and that's very healthy. And, you know, but what do they taste like? What do other people think about them? You know, so you would then make some of those things and do them out, or you would write something, or you would paint something. And let, now you get other people's opinions. Now you can share things with your spouse and your brothers and sisters and your next door neighbors and everything like, because you've now reached your purpose, and nobody's going to shake you from your purpose. Okay, even if they tell you you're mad, okay, it's not going to shake it, because you've got a why. You've got a why, and that why will keep your purpose in place and motivated. So I hope that you come tomorrow's lesson and we're going to look at taking one small step forward with our purpose, and to get, you know, we're going to look at what are our options. Remember, I said there are lots of different ways of how to do it, and so we'll be looking at those. And so, yeah. I repeat again, the purpose of life is a life with purpose. So thank you very much indeed. Anybody want any questions? Anybody want to ask any comments or make any comments? Yes, Arlene.
What if your purpose, or as I see mine, is not a product or a service directly, and it's not something that I want to sell or communicate, it's something I want to give? How does that fit into what you're going to do next?
100%. Okay, 100%, because you've got to move out. You've got to be able to give to somebody. You've got to find the people to give the things to. Okay. So we're going to be looking at whether that's a sort of physical activity, or whether it is an activity that can incorporate social media as well. Okay. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it did, and made me make sure I come tomorrow, because it didn't. It sort of did.
Okay.
Because right now things are more difficult in what I think I want to do, and I will pursue more after we're done, is make people smile.
Right.
And when you can't go near people, or people are wearing masks, or you're not allowed to go into nursing homes anymore, or hospitals, it makes it very difficult, even if you have a plan, to actually implement it.
Okay. That sounds marvelous, Arlene. I definitely would come tomorrow, because we'd look at things from different angles of how to move forward. Now, you've got a purpose, okay? You're now asking yourself, how am I going to perform that purpose? And that's tomorrow's class. Yeah. Okay. Have I sold you?
Yes, you have.
Okay. All right. Any other questions or comments? Anyway, it's really great having you on board, and I hope to see you right through the week.
Thank you, Michael. This was very good.
Thank you. I appreciate the comments. Okay. Bye. Okay, bye.